Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Prashant Bhushan is back in the news. He has gone back to the Supreme Court and said that the CBI has not yet finished its investigation in the coal import scam. What exactly is a coal import scam? Now I want you to rewind the clock. Remember the 2G judgment? After 2G, all the licenses were cancelled. Something similar happened in the case of coal. There were mining rights that were illegally given, and the Manmohan Singh government was forced to cancel all those licenses. Then what happened? Then India decided to import coal. Where did they import coal from? Indonesia. Here's where things get a little interesting. Companies like Aditya Birla, the Adanis, the Ambanis, all those companies who were doing power generation, private companies doing power generation, all these people started importing coal. Now, here's the interesting part. The coal import would happen from, say, Indonesia. And Indonesia, the coal barge that has the coal would come from there and come straight to Mumbai. And then they would take the coal and then go and send it to the respective power plants. The invoice for purchase of this coal would actually take a different route. The invoice would come from Indonesia, it will come to Singapore, from Singapore it will go to Dubai, from Dubai it will go to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong it will come to India. Sometimes the route gets changed a little bit. But the point I'm trying to make is when an invoice makes multi-hops, what is happening is that there is a certain amount of percentage of money that gets tagged on. The same invoice gets reset by another company and another company and another company. So called distribution companies. They are basically nothing but dealers and dalals who are trying to take a cut off of this import. It's a coal import scam. Now, the Modi government in 2015, I believe there was a special trial court established to go into the coal import scam. And remember that the Ministry of Coal was under who? The then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. So in 2015, Mr. Bhattacharya, a bold judge who was in that trial court that was investigating coal import scam, he summoned the ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to appear in front of him. Now, Manmohan Singh had a problem. He couldn't go there because then he has to say that the truth, which was that this was essentially another scam operation of the UPA era. So what he did was he tried to get a stay from appearing in front of this judge. So what he did is he goes to another bench in Supreme Court and obtains a stay from that particular bench. Are you trying to tell me that these 25 judges don't know who's conducting the trial of coal import scam, and therefore they couldn't go and tell Manmohan Singh to go direct his application to the same judge? Surprise, surprise, they actually granted the stay. Now, whenever a stay is granted, the government, in this case CBI, should approach the same bench and say, please vacate the stay so that he can go and be summoned he can appear in front of the judge. The CBI never opposed it. So what was an interim stay ended up being a permanent stay. Jugaad? Fraud? Clever move? I don't know. But this is how Mr. Manmohan Singh, the then Prime Minister, the ex-Prime Minister, but by 2015 he had become the ex-Prime Minister, escaped being summoned and being asked to answer some very uncomfortable questions by the trial court judge of the coal import scam. What exactly happened after that? Then there was a revenue secretary, Mr. 𝙒𝙗𝙖𝙩𝙤, who wanted to get to the bottom of how this invoice was being routed. So he had been sending letters to banks who were handling these invoices. One of them was State Bank of India, and the managing director at that point of time was Arundhati Bhattacharya. Now, all this data is available in the form of references in this video. So you are welcome to go and see that to get to the complete story. This was something that was fairly early on that PGurus started taking it up. I think in 2016, September, we started writing about this. And so it's 6-7 years old. A lot of stuff has happened. So Arundhati Bhattacharya wrote back to Indian government saying that the Singapore government does not allow our Singapore branch of SBI from disclosing the details of such invoices because of the national security laws. Except she wasn't reading the national security laws of Singapore correctly. We pointed that out also in one of our articles. articles, that she is reading it wrong. So basically, people will not mind being called inept, being inefficient, being ignorant, being idiotic, because that way they can escape prosecution. So this whole thing was a set match. Whether it was Mr. Jaitley, who was the then finance minister, who was in it, or the Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, who was the attorney general, the whole thing stinks, guys. I'm not holding anybody good here. This coal import scam is still not completed. CBI hasn't done its job. ED hasn't done its job. This data has not been shared. And guess what? After she retires, Arundhati Bhattacharya becomes a board member of Reliance. Reliance also is a coal producer. Is also a power producer. So you have Reliance producing power, Aditya Birla Group producing power. You also have Adani's producing power, and God knows who else. All these people are doing the same thing. They imported coal and then they just let the invoice be routed through multiple destinations. By the way, you search and replace coal with crude, same thing happens, and it's continuing to happen even till date, and nobody has really looked into it. I mean, this thing about na khaunga, na khane dunga is a joke. These are all happening right under the eyes of Mr. Narendra Modi, his good friend Adani, his good friend Ambani, his good friend Aditya Birla. All people are doing it. They'll turn around and say, oh, wait. It is you politicians who want to take your cut, which is why we are doing all these things. So you're back where you started. So don't say that I'm after corruption and I'm going to try and eliminate corruption. In fact, he doesn't even say try and eliminate. He says, I'm going to eliminate corruption. Na khaunga, na khane dunga. We're still waiting, Mr. Prime Minister. It's 8 years now. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that this is how every investigation somewhere runs into the ground and then just stays there. Let's wait and see if the CBI does come back and say that, well, we have gotten somewhere. I think they have said something to the extent that out of the 42 cases that they were investigating, 39 are concluded and 3 they are waiting. But those 3 will never go away, I'm telling you. Because this is one of those things where, we've done the bulk of the work. We're just waiting for some more thing. Please give us some more time. And then the Supreme Court will give more time and it will just go on. This thing will keep on playing around. I've never seen any scam reach its logical conclusion in India. This is the bane of India, because what used to happen was all this upmarking of prices of coal ended up with the consumer paying more per unit of electricity. This is the sad fact. You're distributing a huge amount of money as over the population, so that the population ends up paying the money, and all these people, the netas, will pocket the proceeds. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel, and do not forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar. Thank you very much.